pot is simmering on the stove. I inhale deeply, triggering worry that it doesn't smell as good as it should. So I cut another head from a braid of garlic hanging on the wall. 5 remain of the 7 braids I put up near the end of the summer. They need to last 8 more months, or we'd have to buy some from a grocery store. Garlic is one of my favorite garden staples. Its cycle marking the time of nearly a full year going by. It's planted around Halloween and harvested around Independence Day. The removal of the tall stalks as they begin to list like dominoes suspended in mid-fall creates room for my tomato plants just as they begin to leaf out voluminously. A few weeks on the patio dries their skin to a familiar papery texture before they're sorted into 3 piles. Use now, braid for later, and plant for next year. Heads that get nicked with a spade as I dig them from the earth are perishable and need to be used quickly. The biggest heads are saved for planting, honored with being the cloves that will perpetuate the garlic harvest for another year. Everything else gets hung for eventual use, like in today's dinner. I cut a chili pepper down from the ristra and scrape some of the seeds into the pot. Chili peppers are fun to grow too, from spending Valentine's Day weekend dropping the tiny seed discs, along with those for 5 varieties of tomatoes, into the divots of dozens of Jiffy pellets, to the finality of Labor Day weekend spent knotting their stems to a length of string to be hung to dry. But the cycle for chili peppers is shorter than that of garlic, crammed into one elongated summer. I've grown my own garlic continuously for more than a decade, and the drive to maintain the cycle is almost compulsive now. Other vegetables can swap in and out of the rotation, but each year's garlic has always been descended from the previous years. To break the cycle now is to start over. This is distressing for some nebulous reasoning to do with sustainability and family values that becomes harder to root with each passing season. The heads I set aside to plant this year are still waiting for me, although it's nearing Thanksgiving. This year, time got away from me, and I still hope to get them in the ground before a hard frost comes. The tomatoes bubbling away on the stove are the last ones collected when I tore down the garden to prepare it for winter. There were only enough paste tomatoes this season to can 5 jars of sauce, meaning fewer winter dinners that are the culmination of a year of gardening love. This year, life got away from me, and the garden didn't get as much attention as it needed. My daughters used to help me plant the garlic. We'd enjoy a warm fall afternoon of quiet slanting sunlight together, me digging the holes, and them nestling the cloves upright and topping them off with soil. Now they're too busy, or too cool, for me and my garden. I can feel them getting away from me. The time they devote to weeding and watering dwindles each year. But still, the wonderful thing about gardening is that trial and error is actually better said as trial and improvement. Something always comes of it, something is always learned from it, and next year is always another chance to do it better. I reach under the cabinet where my jar of summer's dried oregano is waiting. I crumble a handful into the pot of steaming sauce and call my girls to dinner. The table is set, each place marked by a dish of yellow spaghetti squash strands, topped with the hot orangey red sauce fresh from the stove, and crowned with a pyramid of meatballs. Fresh parsley adorns each mound. We dig in, and a peaceful silence binds us together. This moment I won't let get away from me.